What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Secret X-Men #1 by Tini Howard and Francesco Mobili. And in this video, we are going to discover why the Secret X-Men are exactly that, a secret, and whether or not this team actually holds up and why it's missing a very specific X-Men trope. We're going to talk about all this and more right now, but first, if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, hit that subscribe button. I post multiple videos throughout the week, plus live stream the Blerd Cave every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So hit that bell button. That way you don't miss anything. Also, if you enjoy the video, Hulk smash that like button. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about Secret X-Men #1.
You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
Okay, so this is a one-shot, and this is supposed to basically give us a little bit of story and some background, and I guess ultimately give all of these different characters who participated in 2020's X Vote a chance to kind of flex their muscles and show you what they're about. These are all the characters who lost out. Now, of course, these characters include the likes of Armor, Banshee, Strong Guy, Forge, Tempo, Boom Boom, Sunspot, Cannonball, and Marrow. And of course, we know the winner of the X Vote was Polaris, who is now on Jerry Duggan's X-Men. But this left a lot of these other characters with nowhere to go. With the exception of Tempo, Banshee, and Forge, most of these characters are just kind of in a weird transitional stage, almost rudderless at this point. But this issue is basically giving them an opportunity to shine, and the reason why this is happening is because the Shi'ar Empire has a problem. For one, Deathbird, and by proxy, Charles Xavier's daughter, the Empress of the Shi'ar Empire, Xandra, they feel that there's reason to fear treachery from within the Shi'ar Empire, and we also must remember that they have very good reason to feel this way because the Shi'ar by nature are treacherous AF. Not only are they so treacherous, but also we have to remember the recent events in Al Ewing's Sword, where Gyrick set up an assassination attempt on the Empress herself. Whether he actually wanted it to succeed or fail was another story, but still, this has put the Shi'ar Empire on the back foot. And right now, Deathbird doesn't trust anyone, not even Gladiator. So what Deathbird is trying to do is get Sunspot, who was, once upon a time her boo thing. She's trying to get him to put together a team to try and save Xandra from what is supposed to be an assassination attempt. And it just so happens that Sunspot, after the whole X Vote deal and how he didn't get picked to be on Jerry Duggan's X-Men team by the fans, Sunspot and Cannonball decided to put together a team, and basically this team is just everyone who didn't get picked for the vote. And yes, everyone does get a little bit of business. Everyone kind of gets multiple moments to shine, though some, I would dare say, more than others. I would say probably the one who gets the least amount of anything to do is probably Marrow, who mostly just kind of acts as the bloodthirsty, gung-ho Wolverine-style character, as people are wont to write Marrow as, which, it's kind of what she's kind of always been. Banshee gets to have a little bit of business. Boom Boom gets to have a little bit of business. Armor doesn't really get to do a whole heap of a lot, but she does get to have some amusing moments here and there. And of course, Strong Guy is there for the yucks, and Tempo does get to use her power in some very interesting ways. They get new costumes, which honestly I'm kind of digging. I kind of think maybe if they were to go back to the whole, hey, everybody wears the same or similar costume again, I wouldn't be angry at the idea of them using these costumes. This is a story that basically has multiple twists. We learn in this that the Sidri are involved in this, as they are wont to be involved in Shi'ar affairs. These intergalactic bounty hunter style characters who, for all intents and purposes, pretty much go where the money is. And I will say there are a couple of moments in this comic that maybe kind of roll my eyes. There's a part where Marrow, who is only wearing a quotey fingers bone spacesuit, like just something that she literally just kind of created on herself, somehow this helps her survive the vacuum of space. Okay, I guess it's not even covering her whole body, but you know what? Hey, it's whatever. It's freaking comic books. And then later on, we get a moment where Banshee opens the airlock to their spaceship, and once again, he's not wearing a spacesuit, but I do appreciate that they do show him trying to recover from nearly freezing to death. There's also the part where he unleashes a sonic scream, but that one I'm gonna let slide because they make it clear that it's not not heard. But yeah, there are some silly moments here. But eventually what we learn is this was just a training exercise. There was actually no real threat. Deathbird was just trying to prepare Xandra for intense moments like what she was trying to set up. And we do learn that the Sidri, as I said earlier, how they just kind of go wherever the money is, they do actually turn on Deathbird, who they were ultimately working for in the first place. But apparently someone else has gotten to them and made them turn on Deathbird, and she does wind up getting captured, and Sunspot has decided that they are going to, once they have gotten Xandra to safety, go after Deathbird. But this is where the whole secret in Secret X-Men comes into play. Xandra is convinced by her advisors Delphos and Oracle, who are precognitive individuals who can see the future. They implore her to not let the X-Men walk away with knowledge that Deathbird has been captured, regardless of the fact that Sunspot cares about Deathbird. They feel that if the X-Men having this information gets out, it would be disastrous for them, and they don't even really want mutants as a whole to know that Deathbird is missing, because she is a very major cog in the wheel of the Shi'ar Empire's defenses. She is a great motivator, and while Xandra is, yes, the Empress, Deathbird is the one that everybody kind of looks to, and they can't be seen to have any major signs of weakness. But I do find it also interesting in this that Xandra is the one who is very upset about this. She's distraught about this because not only is this a training exercise, but Xandra is the one who actually gave Sunspot the idea to put together this team, because she saw that these people wanted to be X-Men so badly that they were even willing to embrace one another even after being told that they wouldn't get to be on the team. They embraced one another and still maintained camaraderie, even though they were in competition with one another, to be a part of something greater. And that's why she wanted them. And this is why this actually hurts her even more. Now, I also find it weird here because there is a point that comes up where there's a little gag that's brought up that they have to come up with a password, and that the password would have been very easily sussed out had the team had a telepath, which I find it funny that if Xandra put this team together and she didn't think to put a telepath on the team, it kind of makes her seem kind of silly, which once again, she's a child. And while she did inherit Charles Xavier's psychic abilities, I do find it funny that she didn't think that, yeah, maybe I should put a psychic on the team. But I guess since she was psychically nudging the team from afar, I guess she felt it wasn't necessary. And she does even kind of slyly give away the password that they would have needed, the password that she very slyly nudged into their minds, which, if you're curious, it's allies. That is the password. If you take all the different names, different things like the names being Gladiator, Shi'ar, Xandra, Deathbird, Oracle, and Chandelar, all in that order, and then take each of the letters L, S, A, I, E, L in that order, and then unscramble them, it basically says allies, which is what she calls them. But that's why this actually hurts her the most, because she's gonna have to wipe their memories. They are going to remember that they went along on this one-time mission, that they had this opportunity to go and do something great despite not being picked for the X-Men. They'll remember the camaraderie, they'll remember everything except that Deathbird was captured. The very thing that would have galvanized his team to continue operating together, she's going to take away from them. They're gonna go back, they're still gonna remain friends, and Xandra is gonna be proud that they got to have this moment. She's gonna be proud that they got to be X-Men, if only for a day, even though granted, some of them have been X-Men for years in the past. That's neither here nor there. I think it's all kind of silly. But the one thing she's not proud of is that they have to be a secret, hence why this comic is called Secret X-Men, because they are the secret of Xandra, and they can't know the very thing that is threatening the Shi'ar Empire. Now, whether or not I feel this team could have actually carried on beyond what we got, I actually think it could have. I think Tini Howard did a very solid job of putting this whole thing together. It does kind of fall on its face in a couple of parts. There are some parts where there's some very unnecessary antagonizing going on, where originally there was none. It's largely in the back and forth between Cannonball and Sunspot, which I just kind of felt was like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. It was just like, okay, all right, cool. Sunspot apparently is angry, and they kind of make up later on, but it just kind of felt like it was just a way to squeeze out a couple of extra pages in this comic. But I did enjoy it, and I'm sad that this team doesn't get to carry on. It's a solid team. This is a very solid team. You have some of what I would say are some of the more interesting characters on Krakoa on one team at the same time. You have Cannonball, Strong Guy, and Armor, who could be your defense and your super strength and your heavy hitters all in a 1-2-3 combo. You also have Sunspot, Boom Boom, and Banshee, who could act as your glass cannons. You also have Marrow, who could be your up front, up close, and personal hitter. And of course, you've got Forge, who could be your smart guy, your genius, your tech on the team, the guy in the chair if you want, but also is out in the field, as well as being like kind of the elder statesman of the group, even alongside with Banshee. Those two guys alone could be your experience and the elder statesman of the group. And then of course, you have Tempo on deck, who can help pick up the slack in case anyone isn't able to cut the mustard. She can speed things up, she can slow things down, she can even kind of give you a redo on a couple of things. And yeah, the only thing this team is lacking is a telepath, but even without that, I still think this is an incredibly solid team, but yet nothing's gonna be done with it. And I've even suggested on multiple occasions that they should take the people who lost the X vote and just make them a team, and I think it would work. However, it's not going to happen. And here's the thing, even with Tini Howard at the helm, I think this comic could stand the test of time, but unfortunately, we're not gonna get the opportunity to see whether or not that's gonna be a thing, but I don't know. You guys let me know what you thought about Secret X-Men #1. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.